Up would be down. That's good.
What's the hell you drive a helicopter?
Well, there you go.
It's the opposite. So if you want to go left, you go right.
That's right.
You ever drove? Have you ever done that?
No, I never drove a helicopter before. Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My uncle, who's in Vietnam, and he had a helicopter. So literally, we just went out to his fucking field. He's like, "All right." And he just sat next to me. He's like, "Here you go."
Just randomly has a helicopter.
Oh yeah. No, he was a helicopter gunner in Vietnam. Three tours.
Wow.
Motherfucker was hooked on heroin day 3.
I feel like
he was in Cambodia before we weren't supposed to be in Cambodia. So he was in Cambodia and just kept signing up.
I feel like there's people in this world you don't fuck with.
He would be one.
Probably one.
Dude had his own 50 cal. Like literally the gun that's on the fucking helicopter, he had one.
Yeah.
And we shot it.
We're worried about gangs, and there's gunners out there that own their own helicopters and 50 cals.
People not to be fucked with. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Welcome back to another episode of The Barf, the look back at the week that was, so you could be prepared for the week that is. William, what's going on, brother?
Buddy, here's what I know. There are 4 number 1 seeds in the men's bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the last time that happened. It's 1-1-1-1-1. And so the last time that happened was 2008, about 16, 17 years ago. And so anyone that picked a bracket that picked all ones to be in the final 4,
You're winning.
You're doing great.
I have not seen one game this year. Not one.
I've watched some Duke only because Van's been following Cooper Flagg since he was in like middle school, high school, on Duke, and so that's the only reason. But like Alabama was in it, and Auburn, other SEC teams that I would care about. But the 4, literally the 4 number 1s, like you take those brackets, 64 teams, and it's like, oh, somebody's got a chance, and there's gonna be some upsets.
No,
and there were 4 number 1s.
Yeah,
the committee. To me, that validates the committee, because the committee basically is the ones that stack rank all those things.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that put the 1 through 16 on all the teams.
I guess. I don't know. I prefer.
Turns out they got it right.
I prefer excitement. But all right, man, we got a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah.
This has been a busy week, and we've
been
got
a busy
lot
week.
to go. So you want to?
All right, let me give you one. All right. It's from the Financial Times. So if you want to look up the source, you can. It's 40% of U.S. workers would take a 5% pay cut to avoid a 5-day RTO. For me, that number seems low. And it also, I don't think they factored in that while working from home, they're going to earn less and be promoted less. So it's not just 5%. So like the survey was basically, okay, how much would you take to not do the 5-day RTO? All good at 5%. That 5% isn't 5% to me.
No.
It's going to be much more than that. So does that stick with you?
No.
Is it like...
I'm not taking any fucking pay cut to come back to the office.
Right? No, to stay at home.
Oh, to stay at home.
Yeah, they'll take a 5% to not go in 5 days.
No, because I've worked this long in my life to give you what my output's not going to change.
Right.
If you're not expecting my output to change, I'm not taking a fucking pay cut.
Shouldn't. I'm actually costing you less. You don't have to pay for a desk.
Yeah.
And all the other stuff.
Reward me with that. Yeah. No, absolutely. Screw that shit. No. That's a good story, but stupid.
Financial Times.
Yeah. Oh, they did a bad job on that survey.
No, I think they're just reporting the news.
All right. So Ben and Jerry's, Ben and Jerry's, we eat that ice cream.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
They sued Unilever over their CEO who was ousted. This is an interesting one for me because this is kind of like that example of, okay, let's take Ben and Jerry's, who has a very, very specific brand, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's not your Haagen-Dazs or your
No.
Breyer's ice cream, right? Like
Vermont based.
Yeah, they've got their own thing, right? So anyhow, they ousted the CEO based on his values and what he was portraying publicly in the company because it didn't fit with Unilever
Interesting.
values. Now, as part of this deal, now obviously we're not privy to all that, but as part of the
Right.
deal, based on what I'm reading, this was the reason or part of the reason they wanted this guy here. It just
Right.
became too much or not aligned to, I think, the overall picture. So anyhow, people are up in arms about it. They're suing him for it because of the reason and all of
Yeah.
that. I guess
Again,
in
this
the
is
end,
why you bought the company.
you know
This
what
is
you're
why you
getting.
bought Ben. You know what I'm saying? Like you bought them because they're quirky
Yeah.
and they've got a following and they smoke weed. Like you bought them for a reason,
Yeah.
and now you don't like you want to change them
Yeah.
because they don't fit your way
Yeah.
of thinking.
Look, you don't hire Dennis Rodman to come speak at your event if you don't want Dennis Rodman. I'm just saying. I'm just
That's
saying.
that's terrible. All righty, you know we've talked about this a bunch offline. Lawsuit alleges $12 billion unicorn deal cultivated spy orchestrated long-term trade secret theft, corporate
Yeah.
espionage against Rippling.
Yep.
And you can see that actually this is on Rippling's website. This is where they actually posted this on their blog, which I found fascinating. This, but you can find it everywhere, PR Newswire, all that stuff. So I think this harkens back to a time, probably 2008.
Mhm.
Success Factors, allegedly, I will just use all that language, um, created a company in Canada to do demos of another company and screenshot everything. And they created and they literally created a company and put a person there.
Right.
And that's all they did was screenshot another company's
Mhm.
stuff. And so, this has happened. My
Yeah.
thing is as I look at it, I mean, you're not going to sue somebody like this unless because it's really, really public and they're direct competitors, unless you got some juice. Unless you've got some real evidence, I just don't think. I think you can talk bad about them or you can find other ways to do that stuff. I think they've got something on them. I
Yeah.
think that this is actually going to be, this could prove to be very damning
Yeah.
for deal if if true.
If true. If
Again,
true. Now, I will say, if somebody needs someone to step in for corporate espionage, I am there. Like 100
I would love to do that.
that would
Yeah,
be an
I'm in.
amazing job to have.
I'm
I
in.
think so.
Because then you get to act like you're really serious and care, while at the same time living a double life of just stealing
Yeah,
everything that you can
yeah.
possibly
I don't wanna
steal.
get to, like, the blacklist style espionage, like, I don't want none of
Yeah,
that, right?
no, no. I
But
do
I'll
wet work.
yeah.
I wouldn't do the espionage part,
Uh-huh.
but like if wet work or like assassinations and shit like that, yeah, I could. My personality would fit that.
Oh, you
I
wanna
could
do
do
the
that.
assassinations?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
I'll do
I'd
the
kill him.
espionage, you do the assassinations, we'll make a good
Not a
team.
problem. Not a problem. Can't have a family and all that other stuff, but yeah,
Yeah, I guess
I could see
so.
myself doing that.
Alright, Qualtrics
Yeah.
introduces what they're calling experience agents.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So we know the team at Qualtrics. They do great work. They are focused. These aren't just agents that are out there doing work. These are focused
Right.
on empathy and personalization. So they've been working really hard at this.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, so think like different touch points like surveys, call centers, online reviews, things like that, where it requires empathy and understanding and
Yeah.
personalization to the person. I think I've talked about this, not Qualtrics, but my experience that I've had before with a
Right.
customer service thing. I was calling about something. I forget what it was, and it was an AI agent. And I said, I'll play the game. Let's talk. And I actually had a meaningful conversation where they
Right.
directed me away from their product and said, we're not the right product. However, check this out. And if
Yeah.
you need, we can assist with this and integrate into that, but we don't offer what you're looking for.
That's
Super
savvy.
helpful.
Yeah.
I walked away super. I can't remember the name of the company. I just took it down the path because I was like, oh, well, this is kind of what we talk about.
Yeah.
Um, I wish I remember the name of the company because I'd buy something from them at some point. But
Well,
I'm
it makes
excited to see what
sense for
Qualtrics is.
Qualtrics because they're really heavily invested
Yeah.
in employee experience.
Yeah.
So this makes sense for them that they're not just trying to take the low value task away from people, and
Mhm.
that helps the employee experience. They're actually trying an opposite approach or a different
Side.
approach.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I love where
Yeah,
you're
good
going with
stuff.
there.
All right. Usually we don't talk politics too much
Mm.
on the show. However, this one kind of was interesting to me. So ahead of tax season, Trump has frozen hiring and fired 7% of IRS employees, mostly working in tax enforcement. So these are the agents, basically, that levy taxes, levy interest and penalties and things like that. This is the Wall Street Journal. Now, first things first, my mom worked for the IRS. I have a kinship with the IRS in some ways.
Mm.
I hate that people are being fired because all these people have families. They've got people that depend on them, bills to pay, all that stuff. However,
They're not
I've
coming
lo-
for you now.
however I've long since advocated, like libertarians, either get rid of the IRS or make the tax code so simple that it fits in a tweet. And I don't care if it's a flat tax, like we can debate that bit, but like we don't need to have a tax code. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's
Oh
like
yeah.
15 reams of paper,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, we don't need that. And again, you could have one for corporations, one for nonprofits, and one for personal.
Yeah.
So I find it fascinating that for a country that fought for independence, largely based on taxation, that we have so much taxation,
Yeah.
and it's so complicated. And so I hate that people. So the empathy part. I hate the people being fired. Check. If the IRS went away tomorrow, I would be dancing in the streets.
Sure, everybody would.
Well, not everybody.
Oh,
A bunch of
oh,
accountants would
oh.
be out of work.
That
Not
is true.
everybody.
That is
There's a whole cottage industry around that.
yeah. Yeah, that is true. There's kind of a yeah, kind of a little bit there. It's an interesting take.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna go down to Texas. I keep finding things
Oh,
in Texas, and I'm not
as you
sure if
should. Well,
that's I'm not sure if it's because Texas is just like the juggernaut of the
the
states
Wild
or like
West.
yeah. So a Texas court upholds a $300,000 award against SkyWest Airlines in a sexual harassment case. So this originally was awarded to the individual for 2.17 million. They
Oh,
lowered that to 300,000. SkyWest is trying to get rid of that and they've upheld it. This is sexual harassment. This is one of the airline parts clerks is how they labeled it.
uh,
Was being harassed by their managers and the team. Comments about her body, different, miming different sex acts, joked
right.
about rape, and she should go sell her body. She'd make more money than working here,
Hi.
stuff like that. So it got pretty vulgar,
Yeah.
and this went on for a number for a good amount of time before people stepped in because
Right.
the managers were involved. So yeah, so upheld the 300,000 that just came down,
It's nothing
but
for all
why
the
why
abuse.
break it down by why drop that from 2.17 that the jury originally
Two
awarded?
words: business friendly.
Well, yeah,
That's it.
that's a shame.
So it's absolutely a shame
Yeah,
because I mean, there's no other recourse at that point.
yeah,
Once they've settled, once that's done, it's 300K, and the lawyers that for that person are going to take probably 40, 50% of that.
yeah.
So for all of her troubles, I'll just use
She's
her and
getting
him
nothing.
deal. Get $100,000, $150,000, which is peanuts for all the abuse that
Yeah,
the emotional toll. It's not worth it.
yeah,
So there's a special place in hell for people that do that stuff,
yeah,
for the harassment people. The
yeah.
judges in Texas, very conservative. That doesn't shock me.
Mm.
The fact that they even brought it down to 300, they would have, if allowed, they would have brought it down to zero.
Yeah, they probably would have. They were probably thinking like, "Get over it. It's all good. It was all jokes.
Not just
Everyone's having
super.
fun."
It's
Like,
just super business
yeah,
friendly. It's like Delaware in some ways.
hmm,
It's a business law because you have all very conservative judges.
right,
It's just going to skew that way. If you're a
right,
business and you sue, but if you're a person or an employee, yeah, you got a deck stacked against you.
yeah. Go Texas.
Yep. So
And now it's time for the plum stat of the show. When people flourish, business thrives. Unlock the benefits of 360-degree talent insights at plum.io.
William, you know what that sound means.
I do indeed.
It is the Plum stat of the show. You ready for the stat?
I am. What do you got?
All right. According to Plum, 70% of companies believe talent acquisition is a cost center.
Breaks my heart to think of it as a cost center. And I think if people really think of talent acquisition, what they should be thinking of is the competitive advantage it gives them, and probably the competitive nature in which they compete against, again, everyone in their market. And is it a cost center? Yes, you spend money, you invest in it, in technology and process and people, etc. But that's to get people there that are higher quality, faster, and respond in timely manners, etc. But the game is and y'all just won the Super Bowl. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl.
We did.
And so you know this. It's a game of talent. I mean, at the end of the day, generally speaking, the team with the best talent wins. Not always, but generally speaking.
Mostly, yeah.
Right? So if we have the best talent, why are we thinking about the cost? If we're thinking about winning. And so I think if companies, especially the C-suite, if they think about as a sport, we're going to win against whatever competitors, etc. Then they shouldn't look at recruiting as a cost center. They should look at it as a form of how they get the talent on the field or the court or the pitch or whatever to win. So it breaks my heart that many people think of it as a cost center and not as a way to be more competitive in the marketplace.
Well, even if they're thinking about it as a cost center,
right?
They're not seeing the value behind what they're actually doing. They're afraid to actually spend money on the talent.
Right.
And you've talked about this a lot. I really like the analogy of free agency in the workplace.
They can go anywhere. Those running backs can go anywhere. I mean, look at the Giants that let go of Saquon, to then let him go in the division, which is really dumb. But
it wasn't too dumb.
No, it was great for y'all. Yeah. But my point is like, look at how they think of it now. Imagine that board looking at that talent of, we didn't retain, we had the option to retain this running back and didn't. That running back went into free agency, went to a better club, better team, went on to win a Super Bowl. You know, that should make every single one of the Giants board members and executives think twice about talent. It's just that alone. They should be thinking differently. And again, I think thinking of it as a cost center makes, like you said, it makes them timid about making investments. And again, this is what you have to do to be competitive. You have to make these investments.
And there you go, the Plum stat of the show.
78% of Gen Zers want employers to offer menstrual leave.
Can I hit the next button on this one? Like, I sympathize. I got 4 women in my house. I'm the only guy outside my dog. I get it. However,
so the question that you're asking is the same question. First of all, administration, all of that stuff. A, I don't know anything about it. B, I know it's a pain. Like, just, I get it. No hate.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of, it really got me to think of load balancing benefits for your male employees, benefits for your female employees. And so this one obviously would help mostly women, let's say.
Well, I would hope.
Although I see the benefit for men too.
I'm just saying, I'm not
just saying
on this. Just get that out there.
I'm just saying, if you're not in the office, maybe, anyhow. So, but it really did get me to think about, do you, as a corporate benefits person, do you think about these things in that way? Do you think about them gender-based, or are you agnostic as it relates to benefits? If your workforce is 90% women, well, maybe you don't load balance. Maybe you actually cater to the fact that you have 90% women, and you focus on the benefits that would really, really help women.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like, the struggle?
I understand what you're saying, but we have, when we were in the offices, right, we had quiet rooms for
Yep.
people that needed to relax, right? We had headache rooms and
Yep.
nap rooms and all this stuff.
Lego rooms, nipple
Yeah,
rooms,
like
all of it.
whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, for everybody, right? Like totally get that. Sometimes you need just a break, but that's what sick days are for.
that's correct.
Now, I'm not now again, not minimizing all of
No.
this. Um, but if yeah, I mean, like my girls always say, like, oh, I don't want to go to school. I'm about deal with it.
So you've
Like you
got
got to.
for women typically you've got your menstruation, then you go to perimenopause, menopause, and all that stuff. So it never really
Mhm.
ends.
You
This
realize we're two
madness.
dudes talking about this, and people are
It's
like, whatever.
no, not at all. Because my wife's, I've been with her long enough to go through all of that. You got four girls in your house? No,
Yeah.
if anyone can talk about it, we
Yeah.
should talk about it.
Yeah. We can cry about it and suffer through it. We're
Because
never
we're
not the authority.
no, no. I don't know
Oh
if anybody's an
god.
authority.
All right. So Amazon is going to discontinue the do not send voice recordings feature on all Echo devices. So let me ask you a
How
question here.
interesting.
Yeah, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you trust Amazon Echo? Like when you're talking around it, do you trust it? What do you think?
Well, it's capturing, yeah, it's capturing everything, right? So it's capturing all the data, everything you're talking about, everything you're listening to, all that type of stuff.
Mhm.
This is the same privacy type question. Do you trust privacy in Google or Facebook or
Yeah.
any of these types of things? And you're kind of either all in or all out.
Yeah.
If you want to be all out, go find a parcel of land somewhere in South Dakota, and you can be all out. If
Well,
you're
okay.
not all out, you're all in.
Yeah.
They're listening to you. So what? The
Yeah.
government's listening to everything that we do.
Yeah.
So
The so this deal, so the current setup with Echo is that you can give voice commands,
right,
and do things, but it
it's a
it was
voice interface.
but it was local. So it wasn't sent to the cloud and back. They're switching that
Eh,
100%. Everything is now going to the cloud. So they have to get rid of this. This is what they're saying anyhow. But let me ask you a question here. Did you know, a little bit trivia,
Uh,
the do not send voice recording, so people that actually blocked it was used by less than 0.03%
yeah,
of
the
customers.
the Ted Kaczynskis of the world.
Yeah,
Got it.
not a big deal, but people actually are making a big deal about it online. But these are the same people that probably never blocked it in the beginning.
100%. 100%.
They,
I'm
yeah, I'm
outraged.
outraged. Oh, wait, shit, you've been listening to me for the last 7 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good luck. I want it to listen to me so that it feeds me ads
Yeah,
that are more
absolutely.
appropriate to me. iSolved,
Yeah.
sponsor, underwriter of the show, people we work with and love. So they completed their integration of Applicant Pro to accelerate their talent acquisition innovation. And the bit is they've been an owner. They've owned Applicant Pro and run it parallel for a decade. And so now they've actually kind of rebranded it, spent a lot of money, time, money, and energy, and rebranded it. And now they're putting some even more money behind it to focus on that part of talent acquisition, talent management, etc. You can find this on PR Newswire, etc. I love it. First of all, I love it. I loved Applicant Pro, so there's that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love the fact I didn't know that they owned them, and I
Yeah, I
think
didn't
they
know that
probably
either.
so I didn't know that, but I like the fact that again, a core HR payroll play, you're either going to partner with these talent management plays, or you're going to build them. And they went out and acquired one 10 years ago and then put money into it, and now they're just moving it over to iSolve
Mhm.
proper. So good for them. Kudos.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Love it. Love it. And congrats to the team at ISOP for pushing that
100%.
forward. All right, acquisition time.
Yeah,
So
what do you got?
Human Cloud, which is a global workforce advisory firm, has acquired a company called People GPT,
Hmm.
which I was not very intimate with. I didn't really know what they did, but I went and looked at it. It's actually pretty cool. It's a small curated community of HR leaders, TA professionals, people like that, founders, where they just kind of nerd out on AI. They've got spaces for creating custom GPTs, and they all work together.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they collaborate, and so Human Cloud is bringing these guys in. This is kind of like the old school stuff that we used to do, recruiting daily, and some of the ERE, some of the others.
Uh-huh.
We have community resources and webinars, events on and offline. This is what this is. This is People GPT. It's a mastermind per se. Probably not the best way to describe it.
Right.
That's how I view it. And they're bringing them in. So congrats to them, and makes sense.
Love it. So Clio, CLIO, acquired ShareDo, an adaptive work management platform trusted by the world's largest law firms. That's on Clio.com, CLIO.com. So if you want to read a little bit more about that, we don't talk enough about law firms.
We don't.
Like,
Only a couple
you know,
of times, I think.
it's crazy, right? So AI, especially AI in the legal industry, that those intersection points. So when I looked at it, I'm like, that's actually really cool. And again, they're picking up stuff. Clio's picking up the workforce management piece, and I would assume they're going to go pick up other pieces as well.
Mhm.
But good for them both. Good for both firms, Clio and ShareDo.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
All righty, let me give you another one. I got a couple of these. Intergage acquires TalentQuest to
Mhm.
deliver employee experience suite that cultivates award-winning culture for people and performance. Business Wire. So if you want to look it up, you can. Um, I think it's nice at this particular moment in history. I think it's nice that we have an acquisition where they're talking about employee experience. You know what I'm saying? Like you brought
Mhm.
up a story about Qualtrics about employee experience, about, them helping the employees, but employee experience usually comes out when you're not when you need to retain employees. That's when you
Right.
hear a lot about it. And so I like the fact that we're not talking about AI. We're talking about an acquisition to make them stronger in those areas
Right.
and make it better for employees. That's cool to me.
Yeah, no,
So
it
take a
absolutely is.
good congratulations to both firms.
Yeah, we've worked with Intergage in the past, but
Yep.
yeah, we haven't talked to them recently. I had to reach out and see what's
Well,
going on.
now we need to.
Now we need
All
to.
right. Now this is a cool one, and I know you'll like this one. So ServiceNow uh, is kind of okay. So let me just give you what they did, and then we can talk about
Mhm.
how. So ServiceNow purchased a company called MoveWorks, which was and is an expert in agentic AI. So that's what they've basically been doing for a long time, and now ServiceNow brought them in, acquired them. They've probably been working with them for a while, and now they're going to add agentic AI to all their workflows. So this got me thinking, as it does you, agentic AI, it's going to be the cost of the organization one way or another. Whether if you build it, you've got to go hire those people, and then you've got to build it. They decided to buy it,
Yep.
and why I like that in this particular case is they're going to get there faster. And again, I think they partnered with them for a while,
Mhm.
and now they've just basically acquired them, and it's a huge acquisition. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the price tag on this thing, it's
It's big.
2.85 billion
Yeah.
with a B. So, first of all, congratulations to all involved, but I think it's a great acquisition for ServiceNow because the infusion around all the workflow stuff, all the good work that they already do, bam.
Yeah, and they're big enough. They don't need to wait 5. They can't wait 5 years
No.
to get to the place. They need to pick it up now, and they're gonna take a bet on this. So I like it. I like what they're
Okay.
doing.
You got some research? You ready? I got
Let's
one
do
for
it.
you.
You got one. Go for it.
All right. 2/3, right? That's almost 33%, a
That's
little bit over,
yeah.
of HR leaders believe the balance of power is tilting back toward employees, spurring on a stronger focus of cost-saving strategies and operational efficiency. This was on our friends at isolvedhcm.com. And so the report itself filled with I just picked out one number. It's filled with all kinds of cool shit. So go and download the report. It's genius. Now, what it threw me, especially that stat, is I wouldn't have guessed that employees right now have more power. I would have, I mean, if someone were to ask me if I were walking
Mhm.
around, around the block, someone says employees, companies, who has the power right now? I would have said the companies.
But why are we even talking about it? Like, why is there a power struggle? Like,
Well, there's always a power struggle.
yeah, but why? Like,
Karl,
this is
Karl,
wrong with
Karl
work.
Marx wrote about this.
Yeah, I
There's the
well, yeah,
bourgeois
yeah,
and the
yeah,
proletariat.
yeah. He just
That's always
published that
there.
last week, right? Like that. Yeah. This is this is what's wrong with work for me. There's a power. I don't want to go to work and see, oh, my
Oh yeah.
employer has the upper hand. Oh, I've got it today. It's a buyer's market. Like, I just want to go to work, do my job, and go home.
You're, I think, in the majority. I think most people are like you.
Yeah,
And then
it
there
should
are
be.
a whole lot of, and then the other people are into the politics of work rather than the outcomes of work.
Uh, I guess I don't know, but
Yeah. Well, they have to be. Somebody's driving that.
yeah, I mean, but none of that does well for the company. If there's a
Oh,
power
there's no
struggle,
value added.
company's not doing well, the employees hate what they're doing, and then they start this is why we're in this vicious cycle.
I think it's men, actually. I think this goes back to a male-oriented culture, male leadership, where they want people to compete. They want people to compete for raises and bonuses and promotions and stuff like that. So it's like throw them all in the deep end. Let's let them compete rather than what's going on right now. Hire them for their skills. Let them go do their shit.
Mhm.
And I think you're more on the hire them for their skills and let them go do their shit. Which
Yeah,
again, I think you're in the majority.
most people should think like me. That's the way to go. Alright, let's
All
talk some funding.
right, let's
So,
do it.
we
What do you
got a
got?
company called Semper Verins, one word, Semper Verins Ventures. They secured a whopping $177 million for healthcare and workforce tech investments.
Uh,
Have you heard of these guys?
yes.
It
First of all, it's a venture capital.
Yeah,
It's a fund,
yes.
and they started their first fund a couple of years ago. I actually had they pitched me on it, and I didn't at the time. I didn't have enough cash to throw in because the minimums were pretty high.
Yeah.
They're out of it's the old People Tech Partners,
Mhm.
and they're actually very integrated into Transform. So they help
Yeah.
drive a lot of the content and the investment stuff that happens at Transform.
That
They're
I didn't
also
know.
they're all Silicon Valley based. Not all. A lot of them are Silicon Valley based.
Mhm.
Great guy, great people. It's not guys because it's a majority of women.
Yeah.
It's a great thing, and they're now the healthcare thing. That's
Mhm.
interesting because they've up until now they've traditionally focused on work tech
Right.
and what the old People Tech Partners model was. They've got all the HR and recruiting leaders in Silicon Valley all on direct dial. And so a startup would come to them, they take 3% equity or something like that, let's say, and then they would then get them into Pinterest or,
Mhm.
wherever you want to get into, they could get into them. And then they'd let them do a demo, get them in to do a kind of pilot program, etc. So they actually helped the technology companies gain
Yeah.
traction. Well, it is a really cool model. And then they added a fund on top of it. So basically, they still have that, and then they added a fund. I know Robbie Peters, who's just one of the venture partners, great person, absolute
Yeah.
great person. But literally, when Samara was creating Transform, they were a part of that. She's actually a partner on Symptomire.
Oh, nice.
So good. I mean, that's a big number.
Yeah, it
It's
is,
a
yeah.
it's a weird number. I think they were trying to raise probably 175 and someone wanted to oversubscribe
Right.
or maybe
Yeah.
150 and it was oversubscribed, but good for them.
Yep. Yep.
Happy.
There we go.
AIF raises 100 million pounds to build the next generation of identity verification. You and I have talked about verification a bunch. If you want to go see vouchsafe.id is their website. And then it's solving the problem of are you you? And again, with Gen AI, we're going to have more and more trust issues with AI in general. But with Gen AI, we're going to have more and more trust issues around, am I talking to the person that I'm supposed to be talking to? Is this really the person?
Mhm.
Because you'll be able to mimic voice
Mhm.
and a lot of other things identity wise. And
Yeah.
so we're going to see a bunch of these plays funded. This is just
Yeah.
one of a ton that we're going to see. So,
Yeah.
but congratulations to Vouchsafe.
Yeah, and we talked about this previously. The dollar amounts are much lower. Their dollar amounts are much lower because there will be a whole lot of these. Someone's gonna hit it.
Oh, yeah. Did you?
No, Yeah, Optumhire.
That's you.
No, that's you. It's blue.
Well, you're doing them in different order.
How am I doing
Okay,
in order?
because that was the first one on the underfunding. You went down to Virons. It's okay.
Hold on. Let
Just
me
mark it.
let me mark this fucker.
We're good. We got 13 minutes and only like 5 stories, so we're good.
30. You just did vouchsafe, right?
I did. You started with Virons. I was supposed to start.
All right, go back. Yeah, I moved them up earlier. Probably after you copy. Yeah, I didn't realize you copy yours out.
Okay. You ready? Do the little ding. Do the little dollar thing. All right, Ryan. Optum Hire, that's OPTIM Hire, uh, raises $5 million, fueling the future of AI-driven recruitment. Now, normally this would make me like, meh, whatever. However, what I found in the presser was they've done the money's going towards global expansion. Check. Makes sense. Everybody does the same thing. In 2024, last year, they helped businesses like Amazon and Google fill 8,000 roles. And it's all AI. So it's all outcome, it's all AI driven recruiting, etc. So 8,000 roles,
It's a lot.
that's legit.
Yeah.
This wasn't, they filled 5 roles and they got funding. No, they've done some good work.
Yeah.
And so 5 million is their Series A. It's small,
Yeah.
but they're doing good work. And I didn't know who they were.
Yeah. And what type of roles are they? Is it all AI based roles? Okay, good. We'll have to check them out. I've never heard of these guys.
Neither have I.
I'm starting to feel like I don't know much anymore.
There you go.
All right, Multiply Mortgage secures $23.5 million in a Series A funding. I like these guys, man. I did some research on them after I saw this.
Yeah.
They're Denver based. Multiply turns home loans, so mortgages and loans,
Right.
into an employee benefit. So this is
Oh,
similar.
interesting.
Yeah, this is similar to some of the others where the benefit's free to the employer, but it's an attraction to talent of people who are potentially going to be in the home market who may or may not have trouble getting a home
Oh,
loan
I
or
like
a
that.
mortgage. Yeah.
I like that.
So and you'll get benefits here, right? You get like access to discounted mortgage rates and
Yeah.
unlimited sessions with mortgage advisors and home education support, all of this stuff. But what I really like about this is that not everybody, especially first time home buyers, they don't really know what
Uh-huh.
they're doing. They've never been there,
No,
they've
not
never
at all.
done that, right? So this is one of those benefits that if you're hiring, I probably was gonna say younger, but probably
Yeah.
shouldn't. But if you're hiring like fresh out of college, couple years in, maybe they don't own a home yet, they don't
Yep.
realize they can, this benefit will help them. And so this is one of those benefits that free to the company, but invaluable really to an employee if
Well,
done
if
right.
it falls under the category of financial wellness.
Yeah.
And again, we've talked about student loans as a benefit
Mhm.
and helping out with, managing student loans and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It makes sense. This is just one step
Yeah.
over. And you can kind of see cars kind of being in that thing too,
Oh,
leasing and stuff like that.
yeah.
Great for
Oh,
them. I actually, when I saw it, I was like, what are we dealing with? But
yeah.
once you explained it, I'm like, yeah, okay, that tracks.
It's
It's a
interesting
great
though,
benefit.
these types of benefits though, it's almost like part of my brain wants to say predatory, right? Like they don't really care about you. They're just in it for the business.
No,
The
they
other
wouldn't
half,
ever,
like,
they can't offer it as a benefit and be predatory.
well, no, but I did the feeling behind like, oh, we're gonna offer this amazing benefit, but they're all making money off. Like this isn't free for you know what I mean? Like they're making money. They're just providing a good service, right? Assuming they're I don't know the company, but they're providing resources, training, education, access to
See,
counsel that they may not
I don't
have.
think they make money off employees. I think they make money off of the services,
Well,
off
yeah,
of
no,
the
that's what I mean. They're
providers.
making money off the financing and all of
Right.
that. Yeah,
Which is
not
fine.
about the employees. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyhow, there you go. I like it.
Jolly, Jolly, a workforce optimization platform raised 16.5 million. PR Newswire, check that out. Ex Tesla CFO leads the round and is a board member. So that's cool. Not sure. Now I'm not so sure what workforce optimization means. It's, at one point in my life, I could actually, workforce optimization. I get the pieces
Mhm.
of optimization and planning and stuff like that. But now with AI, I'm not so sure I understand what workforce optimization means anymore. But I was looking at the ex Tesla CFO, and he led the round.
Mhm.
So he put in his own cash, and then he got other Tesla folks to put in cash. So, and he's a board member, which means he's going to be actively involved in the company. So, congratulations to them. And again, if anyone has a good working definition of workforce optimization today, I would love to hear it.
Yeah,
So
well,
good and I love the name,
that's our journey. Figure out what all this means.
Jolly.
Ollie
So
reminds me of
Jolly Ranchers,
no. The movie Noel, Christmas movie
really?
Noel. Yeah, she always says it's jolly. I'm jolly. Anyway, all right. Company called Lumber raised 15.5 million, 15.5 million Series A to bring
Mm-hmm.
AI agents into construction management. Which, it was one of these things. I'm like, ah, do I want to talk about this? Do I not? But construction has
Hundred
just
percent.
it's like the redheaded stepchild. It has just been like lack of tech across the board
Right.
forever, right? And after I saw this, I brought this up to someone that I know who runs a construction firm, mid-size, about 200 employees, mostly contractors, people like that. He doesn't have software.
Right.
Doesn't have software. They have software, but they're
Yeah.
using some
They're still
construction
using
management.
Nextel phones.
It's a
Yeah.
construction management software. It does hiring, but it's really not. It's basically an upgraded Excel spreadsheet, and they
Right.
have no automation, nothing along with it. Payroll is still outsourced, or the office manager literally cuts checks on the site of the project. So if they have 10 different projects, they have
Yeah.
10 different payroll, or they literally hand checks out
Oh
to
yeah.
the people. Now, some of that could be the type of employee, some of it could not. I don't know. However, this gets people past that. This is bringing AI agents into the process, automating this process, payroll benefits, compliance, OSHA, all of that stuff is now they're moving to bring that on into construction companies, especially on site.
I love the name, and I'm curious to see with efficiency if it impacts pricing. That's
Nah.
that's what I'm ultimately
Meh.
name
Meh.
genius like Jolly, love it, Lumber, and that's lumberfi
Mm.
.com if I
Yeah, yeah,
remember correctly.
yeah.
But I'm curious as to does efficiency taking something that was inefficient, making it efficient. Do we see as consumers? Do we see anything different?
No, because product is product, and they still have to pay for the product. None of that's going to change. It's just going to make their life easier.
Okay. Well, you're probably right. Jaded,
But I
but
rain on the
right.
parade there.
No, I'm just curious. I didn't take a position one way or another.
Yeah.
Now this one, I don't know how to necessarily pronounce the name. It's QNEI Form,
Cuneiform.
FOR, Cuneiform,
Cuneiform.
an AI powered software platform for the talent recruitment process raises 3 million euros. So again, let's see, it was SAS News is where I found this one. Um, they're doing right now what we've been talking about for months. So basically, when you look at their website, it says what you and I've said.
Mhm.
It takes the low value tasks,
Right.
so the recruiters can have more time to be human. Like literally takes that language, and they've been focused on the financial sector, financial services in particular. And so with this investment, they're going to now start going after other markets. But you and I probably said 100 times, okay, well, AI, it's going to take out all this like low value scheduling,
Right.
sifting, sorting, and all that type stuff, and then it's going to let the humans do the human stuff.
Yeah.
You used to have 20 recs, now you can carry 40 recs because you're not doing all that stuff. And so good raise. It's 3 million euros. That's a good raise. And so when you read the website, and so you go to the website, check it out. It's literally the language. You're going to be like, this is how we talk. This is exactly how we've been talking for a while. So
Yeah.
congratulations to them. Great funding round.
And there we go. We're good.
Funding is done.
We
Drops
we
mic.
ran through that quick. I feel like we ran through that quick this week.
Hey, we did.
We did. We had a
And
lot of stories and we ran it. What is that?
Little Pocket Jesus
Oh.
says we did a good job.
Oh, there you did a good job. I'm just here for the ride to learn. Yeah. What is that?
Well,
Like
thanks
a
for
fingernail size of a it looked like
no.
it.
It's Pocket Jesus. I got one of these in Belton, Texas.
Okay.
I was reaching for Diet Cokes for my wife. This is different.
And you
But
grabbed the pocket Jesus instead.
no, a lady came around me, and when I turned around to put the Cokes in a cart, she was like, like literally a foot from me. She goes, "Do you have Jesus in your life?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." She goes, "Would you like a little? Would you like a little pocket Jesus?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!
She saw
Give me
you
that
reach for
pocket.
the Coke. She's like, "Oh, honey,
Give me that pocket Jesus. I'm good. Let's go ahead."
Uh,
When I got back to the lake house, I came in and I was unloading some stuff, and I looked at Michael and I said, "I got Jesus in my pocket." She's like, "You're gonna go to hell at one point.
yeah,
Just please stop."
yeah,
I'm like, "No, no, I really
yeah,
literally
yeah.
have
No
pocket
help for you,
Jesus."
honey. We're gonna enjoy you while you're here on Earth. After that, say goodbye to Daddy, because he ain't gonna be around. You ain't seeing him
Nah,
upstairs.
you know,
Nice,
I'm still paying off stuff that I did in high school. We're good.
nice. All right, guys. We will see you all next week. Thank you all very much for listening. Like.